Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Radha Gokulananda ki jai Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai Gaur Nitai ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we're going to be exploring chapter 2, which is called Contents of Gita Summarized, which is an amazing chapter because it gives you a window into what is going to be spoken about in the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. And basically in the first chapter, we see the setting is set. Arjuna is on the battlefield. He's faced with he's facing the dilemma that he's going to be at war with his family, and this disturbs him quite a lot, and therefore he goes in the middle of the war arena and asks Krishna to stop the chariot, because Krishna is obviously driving the chariot, being the humble person, and he starts to he starts the internal dialogue initially, and then turns to Krishna to seek guidance. And this is where the story begins from chapter 2. He's put down the Gandiva bow. He's got basically lost the will to fight, and he's considering giving up his nature as a Kshatriya, his dharma as a Kshatriya, and he even proposes that he will become a beggar. And Krishna is convincing him that this is his dharma, he must fight. And now Krishna and Arjuna are having a discussion about various things, mainly for our benefit. And we're going to be looking at verse 59, which is on the screen. But Bhagavad Gita is, a story about somebody who's disturbed. Arjuna is disturbed. He doesn't know what he's going to do. And there are various things that are discussed in this book. But there are 5 main topics in the Bhagavad Gita. And any question that you have will be answered within these 5 topics. The first one is Ishvara, God. Any questions you have about God. Second is Jiva, the living entity, us. The other is Kala, which is time, how time is taking away everything as we breathe, as our cells deteriorate. The time is the factor that's taking away. Fourth is Prakriti, which can be, it's material nature. Prakriti is material nature. And fifth is Karma. It can be translated as activity. Karma you get from good and bad activities that you perform. So these 5 topics cover the whole of, can be covered in the Bhagavad Gita, and this is why it's such an important discovery, because it's a discovery about yourself. And we're gonna start the recitation. If you want to join in. So I'm gonna go line by line, and then you can repeat. Vishaya vinivartante, nirahara rasya dehina, rasa dehina, rasa varjam raso apyasya, rasa varjana raso apyasya, param drishtva nivartate. That could have been done better, but we'll do the English translation. So the translation by Srila for this in English is, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing higher taste, he is fixed in his in consciousness. And the purport by Srila Prabhupada is, unless one is transcendently situated in it, it is not possible. Oh, I forgot to move down. Yep. Unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain types of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the matter of yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, etc. is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of life, but such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. when one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. So before I speak, I'm just going to ask for blessings, and you can recite with me. I think you will all know this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Thank you. So thank you for being here. I'm going to try my best to explain this. I don't pretend to be an expert, but I've had a chance to look at this and just prepare something for you. And please, if you have anything to add, or if you have any clarifications, please jump in, let me know, so that we can discover this with you. So Prabhupada is saying that repressing your desires is not really is renunciation, but it's not really helpful in the long run. The mind holds taste for many things for material enjoyment. Like if the tongue has tasted rasgulla, then we remember the taste of rasgulla, the smell of the rasgulla, how we enjoyed it, and it's etched in our memories. And it's not just from one lifetime, it's for many lifetimes. So the mind holds these experiences and these rasas for material enjoyment. So it's not so hard to just suppress them, just to get rid of them. And that's what Prabhupada is saying. Yeah, to a certain extent, you can put practices in place that will help you to better manage some of the material desires that we have. And we have many. There's no end to material desires. So if you repress one thing, something else will come up. It's like, the 10 heads of Ravana. You cut one off and then another one sprouts. You cut another one off, another one sprouts. So it's like that. Only by experiencing the higher taste, param dristva, Krishna's pleasure, can one become firmly fixed in renunciation. Prabhupada is saying that if the only way to get rid of a bad habit is to replace it with something good. So, like, if you say to yourself, I'm not going to eat sugar, I'm not going to eat sugar, I'm not going to eat sugar, then what happens? You're thinking about it 24/7, and you're going to eat what you're trying not to eat. So we're always told that if you want to if you want to get rid of a bad habit, you have to replace it with something. And Prabhupada is giving you the ultimate thing. So if you want to replace desires, material desires, then you have to have a higher taste for bhakti. You have to have a higher taste for devotional service. And that can only... Bhakti actually is love. The love that you have for Krishna, the way you express your love to Krishna. So if you replace any material desire with bhakti, then you can overcome any desire eventually. But we all have to build our relationship with Krishna, and you have to start small, in small increments, and then eventually everything belongs to Krishna. Devotees are not dry renunciates, but joyful, engaged in transcendence. So again, Prabhupada mentions many times that bhakti is enjoyable. It's not something that you have to force yourself to do. Eventually, it becomes so joyful. You know, like you're here, you could be anywhere on a Friday night. There's many places on a Friday night to be in London, but you're here. So there must be something that's, bringing you here. And in that same way, we have many experiences in bhakti. It may be kirtan. You remember a certain time in kirtan that you want to again experience. And then, so bhakti is like that. It doesn't have a stop point. It just increases in enjoyment, in its bliss. If you carry on this path, then it continues to be joyful and can be very blissful. So some people may ask, well, what's wrong with having material desires? But you have to ask, what does material desires ultimately give you? Material desires are temporary. What you get from material desires is temporary. And a lot of the material desires that we have ultimately result in karma. Whether it be good or bad karma, they're all going to bring you back to this material world. So there's 8.4 billion species of life, and we all have an account. And according to our account, whether we having tendencies for whichever tendencies we have for material desire, we get to take birth in one of those species of life. But Prabhupada says many times, why do we have to take birth? Why do we have to take a body? Why do we have to take a material body where ultimately you're going to suffer the 4 different ways of you have to take birth. If you have a body, you have to take birth. You will die, that's for sure. If you've taken birth, you will die. Hare Krishna. You will die. You will have to experience old age, and you have to experience disease. So when you have good or bad karma, you have to come back to this material place to experience good and the bad karma. But when you transcend your activities, when you develop a relationship with Krishna and engage in devotional service, then you go back to the spiritual world. And this cycle of birth and death ends there. So this is why material desires we are trying to minimize. And in Bhagavatam, has anybody heard of Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam? Yes? It's Hare Krishna. It's an amazing. So this is Bhagavad Gita, and here Krishna tells you do this, do this, do this. It's an instruction. But Bhagavatam is an example for anybody who's trying to look for role models. It's a book about bhaktas. It's people in love with Krishna. So in Bhagavatam, there's Parikshit Maharaj, who's been given 7 days to live, and there's Sukadeva Goswami, like Krishna and Arjuna, right? So Arjuna is the one in the dilemma, and similarly Parikshit Maharaj is the one who has an issue, and he's going to leave the world in 7 days, and he turns to Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, who is guiding Parikshit Maharaj during his last 7 days, and who is trying to ultimately go back to the spiritual world. And they're asking similar question. So when Parikshit Maharaj heard from Sukadeva Goswami, like Krishna's explaining here, that material desires ultimately you can't get anything good from material desires. When Parikshit Maharaj heard about sinful reactions and the consequences of the sinful reactions, that if you have bad karma, you end up on the hellish planets. So he asked Sukadeva Goswami, how can human beings be saved from these hellish conditions? And Sukdev Goswami replies that one should perform prayaschitta, atonement. So if you've done something bad, then you can atone for it. You can turn to Shastra, and just as a doctor prescribes medicine to counteract disease, you can do something about your bad karma. Do a puja, like there's remedies. Sometimes you go to an astrologer and he says you have bad planets that are like causing issues in your life. Then he will suggest that go and perform puja to a certain deity or fast, So similarly, Parikshit Maharaj says you can turn to Shastra and you can do prayaschitta, which is atonement. And in Christian tradition, they also have like this method of atonement. So you go to the church and you say to the pastor, the victor, or pastor, you would go to the confession booth and you say, "Oh Father, I have sinned." So this one man went to the father, and you go into the booth, he's on one side and the man is on the other, and he gives him a donation of £10 and he says, "Father, I have sinned." And the father says, "Don't worry, my son, because you have confessed, it's fine, don't sin again." And then he goes away. Next week he comes back and he says, "Oh Father, I have sinned, but here's a £10. And the father says, "Don't worry, because you have confessed, it's fine, but don't sin again." And then he comes back the week after and he says, "Oh Father, I have sinned, here's a £20. And the father says again, "Don't worry, because you have confessed, it's fine, but why have you given me £20? And he says, "Next week I'm on holiday, so this is for next week." So like that, we don't when you do atonement, you don't have you don't actually want to stop sinning. You still continue with the tendency to sin again and again and again, because there's a remedy, right? So why am I going to stop? I'm going to carry on. So like that, it's good to do prayaschitta. It's not bad, it's good. But then you have the tendency to again sin, and then you're going to be back again. So why get into this circle? So Parikshit Maharaj says, yeah, that's good, but at best atonement is like the bathing of an elephant. When elephants they're dirty, they go and wash themselves with their trunk in the pond or river. And then when they're clean, they come out and they roll in the dust again. So Parikshit Maharaj is like, yeah, it's good, but this is like a bathing of an elephant. We're just going to sin again. Give me something else. So then Parikshit Maharaj says, okay, I'll give you something else. And I'll get to that. But I want to explore something else with you, this concept of karma. So karma is basically the activities that we do. Like I said, if you do good activities, then you get good karma. If you do bad activities, you get bad karma. So when you do bad karma, there's something called prarabdha. And prarabdha is manifest suffering. So you've done something bad and you get reaction for it straight away. So that's prarabdha. But aparabdha, there is something else as well. So maybe from previous lives you've done sinful activities and you're getting the reaction now. So sometimes, you have people that are good and something bad happens to them, and people ask, why are bad things happening to good people? This is because they have aparabdha, which is from their previous life, which wasn't manifest in that life, but it came back to them. Because Krishna, being the well-wisher of everyone, even when you get bad karma, even when you get a reaction of your bad karma, he's giving it to you when you're ready. Have you heard that God doesn't give anybody anything that they can't deal with, right? So, yeah, Krishna gives the reaction for your karma when you can handle it, when you have raised your consciousness and you can handle it. And even when you think you haven't dealt with it properly, you've learned something from it. You've raised the bar of your how much you can take, your tenets, your patience, and if you can be patient in those times where you'll get, life never stays the same. Where just as the seasons change, life, good and bad times also change. So when you're patient and you go through whatever suffering you have to go through, then you'll realize that the time will change again. You will again see better days, basically. Okay, so we've got prarabdha, aparabdha. Prarabdha is manifest suffering. Aparabdha is not manifest, which you've sinned, but you might get the reaction for it a little bit later. There's also something called bija. So this is the seed of desires itself. So when you have bija, when you have the seed of desires, it will sprout at some point. Everyone has them. These are desires that are within our consciousness from lifetimes, millions of lifetimes, and they could sprout at any time. And kutam is tendency. So you've done something in the past, and then now it's a habit. Jai Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai, Gaur Nitai ki Jai. So kutam is a tendency, proclivity to repeat sinful activities. Like I was saying, you get rid of one thing and then something else comes up. You think you've dealt with it, now you're over it. Like like maybe you like fizzy drinks, or you like, food is an easy example, but there might be other things, but I can't. Maybe, an addict. So a lot of addicts who drink alcohol, sometimes they give up alcohol. And then what happens is that something will happen in their life. Maybe one day they're at a party and then they'll drink again, Sometimes you think you've dealt with a bad habit, but it comes back again because we have these proclivities, we have tendencies, and that's hard to get rid of. Sometimes you have a cloth which has got like a crease in it, and regardless of how much you iron it, it just doesn't go, right? Regardless of how much good habits you've built around it, this proclivity, this behavior doesn't go away. So that's kutam. So you can see how complex karma is, how these desires turn into karma, and then they're like again and again. So what you're doing when you're doing atonement, what you're doing is, okay, you're getting rid of the karma that you're going to face, but then kutam is there, the proclivity, this tendency to again and again do the same thing. So how do you get rid of that? You might get rid of the bad karma, but how do you get rid of the kutam? And this is where Sukadeva Goswami says knowledge and austerity. You can get rid of it with knowledge. So let's see what he says. Sukadeva Goswami says, he then describes jnana and tapasya, which is knowledge and austerity, which can elevate a person. So he says, like a sick man gradually cured by diet and medicine, one who follows regulative principles of knowledge becomes liberated from contamination. And Parikshit Maharaj is like somewhat convinced, but he's like, yes, but then you see some people that have knowledge, that are austere, they are, you know, doing tapasya, they're doing everything that you are saying, but they have the tendency to sin again. So give me something else. Give me something else. So then Sukdev Goswami says, okay, I was just testing you. He's just trying to. So again, like Sukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj are like Krishna and Arjuna. They're having this conversation not for their sake, but for our sake. So they have to elaborate on everything because there's different types of people. Some people may be able to get rid of their sinful desires just from knowledge and austerity, but some of us are not so disciplined. So then Sukdev Goswami says, by tapasya, celibacy, truthfulness, cleanliness, non-violence, controlling mind and senses, one can be purified. But, Sukdev Goswami adds, these methods are temporary. They burn the dry leaves of sin, but the roots remain. As the opportunity arises, sinful habits revive. So again, you may have the knowledge, you may be austere, but like the dry leaves of sins and the roots, they can come up still because you have a proclivity. And then he goes on to say that bhakti alone uproots the roots. Finally, Sukdev Goswami gives the conclusive answer. Kishchit kevalya bhaktaya vasudeva parayana agam dhunvanti krishrena niharam eva bhakshara. So sorry about my Sanskrit, but the English translation is, only the rare soul who has taken the unalloyed devotional service to Vasudev can completely uproot sinful reactions. Just as the sun immediately dissipates fog, so jnana, karma, tapasya, and prayaschitta gradually cleaning, so jnana, karma, tapasya, and prayaschitta are gradually cleaning, but it's incomplete. It doesn't give you the full result that bhakti gives you. Bhakti is direct sunlight, like Sukdev Goswami says here, instantly dissipating the fog of ignorance, sinful desires and tendencies, because love can cover everything. It can take away, purify, and it can take away pap. This param drishtva nivartante is in action. The higher taste destroys the lower attraction. So like I was saying previously, when you have a bad habit, when you keep repeating to yourself, I won't do that, it doesn't work because you end up thinking about it even more. So what we're told is that replace the material desires with bhakti, and that's what can help you to get out of the material world. And to elaborate on this, we can look at the story of Ajamil. So I think everyone knows the story of Ajamil, but Ajamil was a brahmana from a young age, and he was very learned. He knew about bhakti. He had practiced from a young age, but he fell into bad association and was dragged into sinful life. So Ajamil had seen when he was going to get something, I can't remember, but he had accidentally seen somebody embrace a prostitute, and that scene had then created a desire within him, and he slowly degraded into sinful life, even gambling, cheating, drinking, associating with prostitutes, And then he abandoned slowly his practices of bhakti. So, but what he did do is that he named his children, and particularly one younger child who he had a lot of love for, and he called him Narayan. So finally, when he was on his deathbed, he saw that the Yamadutas were coming for him. And in his fearful state, he called out for his son, Narayan, Narayan. And although he was calling his son, the holy name of the Lord was uttered. So you could say that, well, he didn't call out Krishna's name with love. So why would that help him? But because he called out Krishna's names with so much love, because he had love for his son, that ultimately helped him. And Vishnu Dutas were stopped in their tracks, and they had, sorry, not Vishnu Dutas, Yam Dutas were stopped in their tracks, and the Vishnu Dutas claimed him because he was wearing the kanti, he was wearing the tulsi beads around his neck, and he had called out. So therefore, even Dharmaraj couldn't claim him, and he had to go back, and he then managed to turn his life around, and that's how bhakti became the higher taste in Ajamil's life. Okay, so what we've discussed is that, like Ajamil had probably material desires that were sitting in his consciousness as bija. They manifested all of a sudden because of something that he saw, because there was a proclivity. So it again manifests. And the only thing that can help somebody in such a situation, when you have karma, aparabdha, prarabdha, bija, kutam, proclivity, unmanifest karma, manifest karma, or, these complicated things, like karma is so complicated. You don't have to be learned, you don't have to perform austere activities, you don't have to go on a mountain, sit there in the cold and chant for many, many years or days. You don't have to be very intelligent. All you need is bhakti. Bhakti can dissipate anything. Bhakti is not about repressing, but redirecting, giving the senses Krishna's engagement. And bhakti can take away your karma. Bhakti can give you intelligence. And this is why Prabhupada in this purport says that replace your bad habits with bhakti, and you can get rid of any material desires. So I think I've covered all of the points that I wanted to. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have anything to add? No, thank you. Thanks for being here. Thank you for listening. It's my great honor to present this verse. And please stay for the... No, it's okay. No, it's okay. I went through it quite fast. We went through 2.59, which was, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing high taste is, but by ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. I hope I did a good job. I don't think anyone was here originally, but it's okay. I enjoyed myself. I learned something. Thank you, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय स्मात् परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की वंदेऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुता पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं चाक्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna